All right. So it looks like I am live right now. This is my first time doing Restream, trying to get our channel set up on multiple platforms to go live. So bear with me. All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, is exactly what's happening in Bitcoin's price action. First things first, one thing that I try to warn my community members about is not trading the weekends, especially Saturday. Okay, and I think that's a very key and integral part if you want to be successful in the crypto markets, especially if you're trading derivative markets in Bitcoin. Is that you want to be very careful with exactly what happens, on Saturdays because it's a low volume environment. Not a whole lot going on. Typically you'll see scam wicks up or down in the markets. So largely best to just stay away. Enjoy your weekend, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is obviously I think Thursday and Friday when we saw this big dump happen right here. I think the stock market itself also broke down starting Wednesday or Thursday. Let's check that out. This was Friday, Thursday. So I think Thursday we had a pretty big gap down and then a big drop, right? And then after that, obviously Friday again we had some more follow through. So Monday I'm still looking to see if we're going to break down further. But personally, I am positioned short, and we're going to talk about that more in the next live stream that we're going to be starting in about 4 hours from now. All right, at 10:30, and we're going to have a Citigroup portfolio manager who's going to be joining us. So make sure you guys come join for that. But for now, let's get to the Bitcoin analysis, right? So obviously, the one thing that we can talk about right now is the fact that we broke down below the monthly open, okay, in a very clean manner, like we smashed through it right there. And then we're trying to head up and try to break through that monthly open again right up here, and we're unable to do so, okay? So this tells me that clearly the buyers who are buying here on the June monthly open across the board right here, finally, once they got broken through, this was pretty much all resistance. Okay, so Sunday evening, so today, right around 5 p.m. or so, when the futures traders come back online, we will get to see exactly how they are positioned in the market, how they are thinking about, if we're going to dump on the market or if we're going to potentially push higher. Personally, I'm still thinking that we're going to push lower, all right? Because the way we saw this kind of sell off, breaking through a key level of the June monthly open, I would not be surprised if we actually make another leg down, okay? And I think the other leg down, I've spoken about this before, if we go to this chart right here, all right? So let's go over here. So it's an easier way to sort of look at the price action in ranges, okay? I've spoken about this before. Understanding why you need to draw trading ranges, like, low right there, high right there, or channels like high, low, and then another lower high, and then we're looking for another lower low touch right there, okay? So this lower low touch, if we roll over, I'm thinking by the end of the day, we might do that. And that brings us to somewhere around $8,600, $8,700 or so, okay? We can look at this another way. I've spoken about this before, all right? So if you do something like this, okay, let's move this out of the way. So this indicator right here, we call it the fixed range indicator because all it does is it measures volume in a specific area, okay? So the amount of volume transacted in a specific area of price. So you can see right here in the, 95.40 area, okay? So this chunk right here, you can see this red line. We call this the POC, point of control. We finally broke through the point of control after holding that control for several weeks almost, right? From way back here, we held it as support. broke up, pushed down, held it as support, pushed up again, tested as well, support right there, support right there, support right there. And finally we broke through it. So all the buyers that were present around this area, they pretty much got pushed out of the market, or maybe closed out their positions or liquidated, however you want to look at it. And now we're testing that area as resistance. So if we're testing that as resistance, it goes to show that from here, we could go to the next high volume node area, which is way the heck down here. The high volume node right now is right around 88.40. Okay. So that's what I'm currently thinking right now, is if we roll over, at least we get to, 88.87's area. Okay. Are there any questions? Let me check out the chat here. Snae's here. Yep. We are live. Let me see. Cool. Let me see here. All right. I guess there's no more questions. Okay. Let's keep moving. Right. So we pretty much, like I said, broke through that June monthly open. Okay. And so now what I'm looking forward to is the next rollover down, and you can look at it as the May monthly open way the heck down here. Okay. One of the questions is, does price always have to respect high volume nodes? So price doesn't have to respect high volume nodes per se, but think of it like, where are the big buyers and sellers present, right? If the big buyers were previously present over here, okay, and they got pushed out of the market because the market actually broke through that level, well, the bigger buyers are again going to look forward to the next big level that they had previously transacted at. And that was around this area, around $8,800, $8,700. Okay, so that's this big high volume node. Alternatively, you could see, I've stated this before, the reason why I've stated this whole thing is distribution is because you see big volume spikes coming, pretty much at the tops of the ranges, even right there, right? All this stuff. And you could see how almost anemic the volume is on the way up when we even try to push up. There's really no buy side volume. You have like these random spikes, here and there, but like you get these just once in a while, like a quick 1 hour, 4 hour candle, and then price dumps, several hours after. So that's not really continuous and consistent volume. That's more so just, hey, this is a short liquidation or a short squeeze, whatever you want to call it, and then price rolls over again. All right. And then even back here, when the price was kind of doing this grinding behavior, and I don't know why, but people started getting bullish again. In our community, I actually shorted up here one more time. So my short is like 97.50, 97.75 or something. So you could see we're a good $300-400 positive in our short position, and we're still looking for another move down for another $600 or $700 more of a drop. So I'm not really looking to let go of my short position anytime soon. And to be completely honest, I really don't even think we're going to land in this area and stay for very long. 8.6, 8.7. I feel like if we're going to come into this area, I would figure that we're going to break it maybe sooner rather than later. And that takes us into this previous consolidation block, right? So if we go over here, when we consolidated here before we made this big push up, right? I'm thinking that this is the one area where buyers are probably more present here than they are here, here, or here. So this is kind of what I'm thinking is we're probably going to roll over 8.6, 8.7s. And then if that doesn't hold, right, we might do something like this where we break through, test this area's high volume notice resistance, and then roll over. Kind of like we've done right here, right? So remember I told you guys high volume nodes are basically areas where price transacts for a longer period of time. This is where bigger players can get in and out of the market. Remember that you cannot identify big players on their own just by a single order, right? They will always leave a footprint behind by showing you where the higher areas of volume have been transacted. So you have to pay attention to this node right here, right? Or nodes. And so this area tells us that there's a good amount of price action that has taken place. If you look left to right, you can see how much time we spent all around this red line, or this black sinusoidal wave line, right? So just like previously, where we were using it as support right there, pushed up support, 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 and then finally we broke through and then use it as resistance. I'm figuring that we do the same thing right here. We break through, okay, use this high volume node right here that comes across, right, as resistance, okay, and then we push down towards the next area, which is way the heck down here, which is around $7,600. That's a pretty big target for me in terms of my short position. And I know a lot of people don't want to believe that. But personally, I actually think that by the end of possibly even this year, maybe even the next quarter, I think we're going to probably head to at least 6,900 and maybe lower lows. I mean, those obviously those are much more out of the way, out of the context for now. Um, but in my opinion, I think it can be done. And I think I've showed you guys multiple charts where I've indicated how that's possible. And let me show you guys real quick again. Let's turn off the volume and the Bollinger Bands right here. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, I've stated over and over again the importance of this key level right here, which is 10,500, 10,600 area, right? So right there. Remember, we hit this level in October 2019 with that China, pump, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so once we hit that, we dumped down low, and then we technically had this low and then this higher low right here, pushed up and then got strongly rejected, put in a lower low as per this key swing, right? And then again, push back up towards 10,400 and something. Okay, I think that the high was like 10,343 on certain exchanges. On BitMEX, I think it was like on BitMEX, I think it was 10,473 if I'm not mistaken. But then, so point is, these are consistent lower highs, right? So all-time high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then another lower high. And so the reason why this lower high is important, if we cannot break through this right now, or let's just say over the next several days or several weeks, we went way the heck down here around $3,600 or so. Remember when we had this big drop, right? In March, we had that big drop, yet we pushed up and couldn't even put in a higher high as per these swings right here. So that should tell you that even the liquidity that we took down here was not even enough for us to drive the market higher. So what does that indicate to us? Well, that indicates that the bullish strength is much weaker than most anticipate. Now, I know Bitcoin bulls get really offended when you start talking about lower prices or possibly new lows as per the last several years. But the fact of the matter is, if you understand any basics of the market, if you take liquidity way the heck down here and you're still not able to push up higher, there's some serious demand issues. Okay, those are things that bulls need to figure out. And if you don't figure that out, right, there's going to be possibly a more destruction in the asset. So it's possible that we head down a little bit lower, maybe S1, maybe even lower, way the heck down here, around $1,300 to $2,400, right? So I told you guys why I believe 1,300, because that was the previous high here in November 2013. Not saying it has to be retested. And I know these prices sound crazy, but this is why I haven't spoken about these prices in a manner that's definitive. I'm not saying that it has to happen or will happen. I'm just saying that it will pay to be careful, especially if you look on the weekly time frame, that we literally have no support. Remember, support is sort of defined by areas of consolidation where you get to see where the buyers and sellers spent some time, and then eventually the buyers gain strength and pushed on through, right? So for example, you could see back here, right, in 2017, we pushed up, consolidated, pushed up, consolidated, pushed up, consolidated, pushed up, and then very little consolidation, and then pushed up all the way. So you could see when price came crashing down, guess where it stopped? It stopped around this area of consolidation right there in December 2018. There's a reason why price does things like that, because it finds previous buyers and sellers, or in this case, previous buyers, and it says, okay, I'm going to keep dumping until I find, an area where there's a significant amount of buyers, or there's just little to no supply left in the market. Now you can make the argument that, oh, well, maybe there's just not a whole lot of supply left in the market. That's not what I'm seeing. If you look on this website, cq.live, okay, so this website helps you identify the metrics of how much Bitcoin is coming onto the exchange, all right, the inflows that are coming onto the exchange. And you can see right here, okay, so let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's do the hourly time frame. Let me see here. Okay, so on the hourly time frame, what you could see right now is these big red spikes. Okay, so these are inflows, meaning Bitcoin is being brought onto the exchanges, and this has been happening since we entered into this 9,000s, 10,000 level, all the way up here, right? So that's this whole area that you're seeing right now, where you see massive spikes in the inflows. So that means there are some big players who are bringing Bitcoin live onto the exchange on the market to be able to sell. I mean, you're not going to bring Bitcoin onto the exchange to do anything else other than sell, right? Unless it's like a hedged long, or maybe a leveraged long. It's possible, but the other metric is, I took a look at this, which was one of the miners was actually selling a good amount of BTC over the last several weeks. This mining pool right here, it's the unknown mining pool 1, right? And you can see their outflows, meaning they're moving Bitcoin out of their wallets, and it went onto the exchange that I just showed you, right? The exchange inflows. So that tells us that, okay, well, it looks like miners are selling. And by the way, miners aren't the only ones selling. There might be other bigger professionals in the market who are actually selling. And I think I've also explained that to you by showing you another chart. Let's see here. So that's this chart I'm going to show you. Let's look at some questions real quick. This price always has, okay, I think I answered that. Do you think one big dump, one big pump towards 9,700 and then start the big dump? It's possible. Let me answer that in a second. Okay, so this is the CME data, by the way, if you guys are not familiar. I think the name of the indicator is like CME COT BCC Legacy, this thing right here. You can look this up yourself. It's a free indicator. So anyway, what you can see right now is, open interest is actually going up right here. Okay, but price is kind of like rolled over the last several days. And then on top of that, your non-reportables right here, these are your retail positions. Okay, these you can see again, they're also starting to roll over, but they're still high. Meaning if they're up here in the positive side, these are long positions. Your non-commercials are way the heck down here in the negatives. What does that mean? These are your hedge funds and institutions that are shorting. Okay, so you understand that hedge funds and institutions are far more inclined to get the market right because they play with bigger money. They understand the larger players in the market. They understand the dynamics of the market much better. So if they are short and you see your average retailer being long, and I think this is also visible on exchange positions where a lot of people are still net long, you will understand that it's possible that more of those retailers are probably going to be wrong when the price dumps, and they're going to accelerate the drop down when they have to be forced into liquidations or closing out their long positions. Okay, which again, further accelerates the drop down. So that's kind of where we are. We're in this peculiar area where, yes, we've continuously grinded higher and higher, but in fact, that's what it's supposed to look like when it's distribution, where volume comes in at the tops right here and right here and right here. This is the indication that distribution is happening. And then, more importantly, if we're looking on a more basic technical level basis, you see this candle right here that happened, I think, Thursday, right? Um, the fact that we had such a big bearish candle after this continuous grind up for like 6, 7 days tells me that we broke through a significant level. Remember, we were consolidating above this level. All these candle closes were above this level. Then we slowly grinded back up. This marker right here, 94.26, the black marker that you see, the fact that we closed and smashed below that is a bearish sign, because if the bulls were actually in control, they would not have allowed a close below that marker, but they did. So this means, like I've said, there were a lot of sellers, a lot of strong sellers in the market that actually pushed people out. Okay. So that's kind of where I am right now, folks. I'm looking at this market thinking that we are still bearish. We are still looking like, we want to push lower. And here's the thing, yesterday's daily candle right here, this little hanging man, okay? You typically get these when the trend back up has exhausted, okay? So hanging mans are typically, a sign denoted as potential reversals when found at the top of trends. So for example, this is more so of a doji, but let me see here. Let's see where we could find a good hanging man. So this is a hanging man right here. Okay, right there. So again, hanging mans are, tops of the trend, and then they have a big wick to the bottom. They could be green or red, doesn't matter. And then again, you can see, big dump down, right? I think there were a lot of hanging mans. Let me see. I think way back here. So this one right here, this green one, right? And then we roll over, okay? Let me see. This one right here, you can see, right? If I zoom in a little bit closer, way over here in August 8th, 2019. Okay, hanging man at the top, and then we roll over, right? So you could see going back, hanging mans, aside from the fact that these are very common candles that you see as a potential reversal, you're now seeing one right from yesterday. Okay, and so today being Sunday, in about 10 hours or so, or 8 hours or so, when the futures traders come back online, it's possible that they start dumping the price. And like I've said, I'm still looking for this area down here, the 8788 area, to find as support. Okay. So those are my thoughts, guys. Lots going on in the market. As I've stated, I still believe this is distribution. I still believe we're going to roll over. If we pump, let's just say we do have a quick spike up, I don't see us going farther than like 9,700. And if we do, we're probably going to roll over. Let me take some questions real quick. Johnny B says, an unsurprising shenanigan-free weekend for BTC so far. I know, right? I was actually expecting some maybe crazy spikes, but I think that just goes to show that maybe there are some big players in the market controlling, the heavy spikes. Why does CME open on a Sunday? Everything else is Monday. So actually, all futures open on Sunday evenings. Okay, because there are, I think, like 24 hours a day. I think 6 days a week, something like that. So yeah. Let me see here. What sort of leverage are you using for BTC swing short? Let's check that out, right? So I'm on 9X, I'm pretty sure. But I'll show you guys that again. And by the way, if you guys are watching us on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, hit the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. This is my first time doing this restream thing where I'm streaming across multiple channels. So I'm just trying something new. And then also we're having a Sunday morning discussion with myself, Faisal, who's our equities analyst, and Austin. He's a former Citi group portfolio manager, and he's currently running his own hedge fund. So we're going to have a discussion with him about the economy, about the stock market, how things are going. And then, for our Advantage members, every Sunday, we actually discuss all our positions in the stock market. So the Advantage members, which are the paying members in our community, get to see exactly how we're positioned in the market. So you can see right here, there's my proof of my short position. 97.75 is another ad I had when price was at 99.80. So I added to my short position. And so I have 9x leverage right now. My stop is at 10,600. The first target profit that I'll probably be taking, like I've said, is this, $8,800, $8,700 area. Okay. And personally, I got to be honest, I think if we're going to roll over from here, I kind of doubt that we're going to stop anywhere other than way the heck down here on, $8,700, $8,800. I kind of don't really see any big support. The biggest support was this one right here, which was, the 9,495 level. And so the fact that we broke through that, it kind of just indicates that we broke through it, use it as resistance. Why would we not head towards the next, big high volume node, which is around this area right here? And you could see, we actually transacted and found support right around these areas. So it makes sense that we find support here again. Now, it'll be really worse if we actually just slice through this and just go straight to like 8,100 or 8,000, because then that means, holy crap, there's a lot of sellers in the market. Price is aggressively weak. And then that might give us a forced look back up, see, all right, can we even grind back up and push back up? And then it's possible that we meet this previous area that's supposed to be support, hit it as resistance, and then we start the rollover. And then that would definitely mean we head towards at least $7,500, $7,600 and probably lower. Okay. So those are my thoughts. All right. I know there's very bearish thoughts on my end, but guys, I've been bearish, all through when this thing started back up over here. It started to look like, distribution to me. Okay. It's not like I just saw this top and I said, all right, guys, this is the top and this is distribution. I started to become more cautious here, became more confident in my short, got stopped out right here in my short, got dumped on, and then again, I started to add to my short here, here, and here. And so now I'm in a nice, 97, 75 average short, and I'm looking to take profit around $8,700, $8,800 at least for my first target profit. And then quite possibly, even much lower. Okay. Let me see here. I think there's a big element of professional traders on BTC today / recently. Yeah, so the correlation of the S&P 500 and Bitcoin is, back again, right? I mean, I think it's evident over the last several days that Bitcoin and the S&P 500 were pretty much moving toe to toe. Like if we do this kind of comparison, you can see this right here. The orange line is Bitcoin. The candles right here are is the S&P 500. I mean, look how closely correlated they were over the last several days. You had this big rollover, push back up, grind, dump. Bitcoin dumps too, rolls over, and then Bitcoin pushes back up. S&P 500 pushes back up, again rolls over. So, and obviously the last few hours of Friday, we grinded back up, and this is kind of what we've done in Bitcoin over the weekend, which is slowly grind back up, right? So it makes sense that Bitcoin is now again tied back to the S&P 500, and if the S&P 500 is looking like it wants to sell off, because I've spoken about case increases in California, Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina. If that's happening and the market is kind of going through a repricing again because people have been aggressively bullish over the last several days or several weeks actually, then it's possible that we push down lower. It may not have the same kind of aggressive drop that we did here in March, but it's possible that we push down over till the end of the month. Okay, so again, we are having our Sunday morning talk with Faisal, who's our equities analyst, and then Austin Ashraf. He's a former Citi portfolio manager. He's currently runs his own hedge fund in the greater area of Houston, and we're going to discuss with him things happening in the stock market. And we do this every Sunday with our Advantage members. So come join. The Discord link below. I think it should be on our screen or on your guys' screen, or if not, there's a description below in YouTube or Facebook, wherever you are, and you could click on the free Discord link to join. Okay. So in a couple of hours, we will go live again, and you guys will get to see how we are positioned in the stock market, what our thoughts are for the stock market, etc. All right. I hope you guys enjoy this analysis. Again, forgive me if the quality is not that great or if the stream is not that clear. I'm just trying this restream thing out. Now, this is my first time doing it, so bear with me as I become more confident and comfortable in it. But make sure you guys give me a thumbs up if you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're interested in joining our free Discord, like I said, there's a link that you can use in the YouTube description below, or it's on our Facebook or our Twitter page. All right. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you guys in about 3.5 hours for the stock market stream. All right. Cheers.